What is up, guys? If you're watching this and you see us all bundled up, we're not at the North Pole. We're not at the Arctic. We just saw Santa Claus.
No, it feels like we're in the Arctic or the North Pole with it having 2 feet of snow on the ground and it being minus 15 degrees outside.
That's without the wind chill.
Without the wind chill. Yeah. Beautiful, snowy Minot, North Dakota.
I might get to use my sled this year. I'm really excited.
Oh, you'll definitely be able to use your sled now.
Oh, but I don't want to freeze to death because I'm from Wakanda.
We have plenty of snow out there to do that. Plenty. And I'm already done with the snow. After Christmas, it can all melt away for all I care. I'm done with it. Alright, well,
That escalated
again,
quickly.
Alright, my next piece of World Series memorabilia is right there. Again, each episode for a while, I'm just going to be having a new thing right there.
May as well, I mean,
especially
why not?
Especially with Christmas coming up, because right here I'm going to be getting a lot of Cubs stuff for Christmas. Which,
So we could just decorate the set with your Cubs Christmas
easily.
stuff.
Easily.
After, just decorate the table, throw in some soldery here, some wood, some pallet jacks right here maybe, and some pallets from Northern Bottling Company with some Cub stuff on it. Home Depot.
Not sure we need pallets, but
It's just, it'll add the effect. Just go with it.
Sure, why not?
Just go with it. Shout out to my Pepsi place. Yeah.
Alright, well, it's been a couple of weeks again.
Yeah, I've been kind of busy.
I've been kind of busy. It's the holidays. You get busy around the holidays. Work and stuff. And
It happens.
sicknesses. And good old stomach
Not
flu and food
I.
poisoning. Made for a fantastic Thanksgiving.
Did you have turkey?
I did Sunday.
But you did get turkey, though, at least.
I did. My wife did not.
It's an unfortunate.
She had food poisoning, and then Sunday she had the stomach flu.
Oh.
So she didn't get it.
It's a double whammy. That's
Yeah.
an unfortunate.
I just had
Rod.
all at once. Stomach flu, food poisoning, just got out of the way all at once.
That's an unfortunate, Rod. Back to you on dodgeball.
That was, but just a couple weeks left till Christmas. It's just right around the corner. But one thing I just got, or one thing that I just want to get this out of the way first, 49ers fan, Colin Kaepernick said after the season he is going to opt out of his deal.
But he didn't rule out the chance of maybe coming.
He got benched last game after only throwing like 4 passes into the third quarter against a terrible Bears team.
Yeah, I know.
And
Rod.
it looked bad. I don't know if I can
know,
necessarily blame
Rod.
it on Kaepernick, though, because if you're only throwing 4 passes,
You're probably running
in the
block,
third quarter.
or you're not getting blocked.
well, and the team is his own worst enemy. They get this supposed touchdown, then they celebrate, get penalized. Oh, by the way, it wasn't a touchdown. You were at the 4-yard line. Well, now you're going back 15 yards. So
yeah, I
even
know.
when they think they're doing something right, they screw it up. So, but go back to Kaepernick here. Opt out. Do you want him back?
So okay, sorry.
I was going to say, and if not, where do you see him going?
So I'm gonna take one and say I would like him back because before this game he had 4 pretty good performances. They didn't win.
I'll say, granted, he has not won yet this year.
Right. And I mean that's a part of it is his fault, but the other fault is there's just no one that can get open.
No, I mean, it doesn't seem like he's running, though. Like,
No, he's staying in the pocket as much
but
as he can.
he might need to start running.
Right.
Because then the defense is going to have to account for that. Well, right now, if he's not running, they don't have to have that spy right there. They can, just cover the receivers.
Right.
So he might need to start running more
Right.
to have, cause the defense to come up and then maybe be able to get a receiver open. Like granted, they don't have anybody for receivers.
That's their
But-
best. Our best receiver is Vance McDonald, the tight end.
Yeah, and I have no idea who that guy is.
He went to Yale.
Yeah, it's not a good sign.
He's an Ivy Leaguer.
Yeah, there's not many.
Probably had a 4.0, grade average.
Probably. Well, I mean, so okay, you want him back. If he doesn't come back to the front, because that is a very real possibility.
Yeah.
Where do you think he's going to end up? I mean, there's not. I mean,
I
obviously
don't
there's
know.
teams that need a quarterback, but I don't know. I can't think of one to actively pursue him as like, oh, it's going to be the franchise saver right here. It's granted some teams probably gonna pick him up and bring him in just to give him a shot.
Yeah, right.
There's always the Browns.
I would not even wish upon him to go to the Browns.
I mean, hell, the Browns, I could pick him. It's like, hey, keep doing your kneeling thing, get us some sort of attention.
Publicity?
yeah, something. Give him some sort of interest in a Browns game.
I haven't researched enough to see if there's any teams in interest of him. I would have to dig, but on my head I don't know of any teams that he would go to.
And you think of teams that need a quarterback,
And what do you want to be a backup?
Yeah, and teams that need a quarterback, obviously the Browns are basically always searching for a quarterback. There's talk that the Jaguars could be moving on from Bortles because he has not been living up to his expectations.
He's had an awful year.
But then is Kaepernick the guy that they're going to want to bring in to replace him? I don't know.
In his defense, if he did go to Jacksonville, he would have 2 good wideouts.
Yeah, and
He'd
plus
have the Robinsons.
Jacksonville's probably getting a new head coach at
right,
before
Gus
next year.
Bradley's
So
probably gone.
what kind of system is that coach gonna bring in, and could Kaepernick fit into that system? Is a possibility.
If he came back to the Niners, I would like for Chip Kelly to switch out the college offense. He does not have the personnel for that offense at all.
No.
The Niners O-line is not what it used to be at all. I've pained myself to watch their games, and Hyde there's just no holes for Hyde to run. Kaepernick says HUD, he's running for his life in like 3 seconds.
Yeah, and I was trying to think of all the teams that could possibly use a quarterback. I mean, you have Denver. They have Paxton
I don't think
Lynch,
Simeon's
Trevor
not
Siemian.
the answer.
Well, they just drafted Paxton Lynch.
And he started
So
a game.
I doubt they're going to sign
Right.
Kaepernick when they just spent a high draft pick on Lynch. The Bears, I don't think he fits in John Fox's system.
No.
So then you just continue tracking down of
The Jets.
Yeah, I mean the Jets are going to need a quarterback. I mean they just keep bouncing back and forth between starters right now, and they can't make up their minds. But then there's talk maybe Todd Bowles might be out, which they should not fire him. I mean,
No, it's not his fault.
no, I mean last year they won 10 games.
Exactly.
So you can't
They
fire
almost
him
made the playoffs last season.
and you can't fire him after 2 seasons when
No.
someone like Jeff Fisher gets a 2-year extension when he doesn't do anything.
His
except go
career
79.
record is under 500 for Jeff
Yeah,
Fisher.
somehow
at
it's-
most.
He made it to one Super Bowl, yet he's seen as this amazing coach. But you look at in the past several years, it's been 7-9, 7-9. This year they're 4-8. So just to get to 7-9, they're going to have to finish out 3-1, which I don't see happening.
No.
Yet they give him an extension. I don't get that. I don't get. I mean, the Rams, they have the first round pick Jared Goff. They're not going to sign a quarterback.
No. I think Goff will start week 1 next season.
Most likely, yeah. Just going, other teams that, they'll probably need a quarterback. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of any place else that Kaepernick would fit. And also, you're going to have Tony Romo out there, too. So teams are going to think, okay, do I want Tony Romo or do I want Colin Kaepernick?
Right.
Tony Romo's more the conventional. He can fit more systems than probably Kaepernick can. Him, it's health concern. Can he stay healthy?
Injury prone.
So, I mean, it'll be interesting.
I hope he comes back, but
He very well could come back to the
if he doesn't, we're probably screwed because we'll probably draft another quarterback.
If he does come back to the Raiders, I'm assuming it's probably going to be an incentive-laden deal. They're gonna give him a minimum amount, but they're gonna have a lot of bonuses in there. If you do this, we'll pay you.
If you win
give
this
a
many
bonus.
games, or if you throw for these many
That's
touchdowns,
the only way I could see.
that'd
That
be
way
realistic.
That way they don't take as big of a hit on the salary cap, yet still gives him an opportunity to earn money, and not take.
I still think he could come back to the Niners and do well. They just have to, build in the draft and hope they snag some decent free agents, and he's got to change the offense.
Yeah,
That's the main thing.
And
Got to switch up his
the
offense.
big thing with the 49ers is they need to just do a complete teardown and rebuild. I mean, that's the point where that they just start. They need to start from scratch. Don't make any secret of that. The owners can't sit there and blow smoke up.
No.
Fans
I'm not
saying,
fooled by anything.
It's oh no, we plan to compete. It's no, just tell them, hey, it's going to be a couple years. You're going to have a couple years of suffering here because we're going to be bad, but we're going to rebuild, retool, build from the ground up, and hopefully do something.
I mean, they've shown before when they rebuild, they can rebuild fast within 2 or 3 odd years. I mean, look at how they had all the pieces when Harbaugh first came through the first year because they kept rebuilding, and by the time he came there, we were good for like the last 3 years.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, you have a team of
Yeah,
such
that
historic,
sucks.
have such an historical greatness to
Yeah.
just be so down. And it's been, a few years since
It's been
they've
like 6 years.
they've really,
Yeah.
mattered, that much. So it's, unfortunate. But then again, you've had a team like the Raiders, who historically has been such a great franchise, but I mean, for a decade now, it's just been complete garbage up really until this year. But I mean, this year, they looked really well, but they're starting to kind of
They looked
fall
bad
back.
last night. Derek Carr did not look good at all.
2 of their
last
3
night.
losses came against the Chiefs.
Are they going to
That's-
make a Super Bowl run, the Chiefs? Maybe challenge the Pats?
I don't know, but I mean, the Raiders, they were looking good, but if you can't beat your division rival, you get swept by them. I mean, that's not,
You're going to see them in the
It's not.
playoffs probably, too.
most likely. So you got to be able to find a way to beat them. Until you can, that's just going to be a hurdle you have to be able to get over at some point.
You're going to see them at some point.
Yeah. So speaking of kind of rebuilding, franchises, winter meetings just got over in baseball. Lots of activity with trades, free agent signings. One team I think came out as a huge winner, which is weird because considering they're going to be losing for a while, but what they did is going to be a huge success for them. And Chris Weiss, your team, White Sox, they made out like a bandit in this winter meetings. Traded Chris Sale to the Red Sox. What they got in return is the Red Sox #1 prospect, Yohan Moncada, Victor Diaz, a pitcher, Luis Alexander Basby, an outfielder, and Michael Kopech, a pitcher. Kopech, top-rated, pitching prospect. Then they trade Adam Eaton to the Nationals for the #1 pitching prospect, Lucas Giolito, Reynaldo Lopez, and Dane Dunning. So they gave away 2 pieces too. Chris Sale is a huge, huge piece they gave away. Adam Eaton, he's never been an all-star. I don't think he was worth the haul they got for him. But they got a lot. And they're still talking about trading Todd Frazier, Quintana, Abreu. So, they could still get more. They're kind of taking the page out of the Cubs playbook. It's like last year they thought they were going to win by bringing in, these free agents and whatnot. And it didn't work out. And then they saw, what the Cubs did. It's like the Cubs, when they started this whole process, they said, we'll get ready to suck for a few years because that's going to happen. We're gonna start from scratch. We're gonna get rid of all these players you've kind of grown to know and love. We're gonna trade them away. We're gonna bring in a bunch of young players.
Look where I got them.
And it worked. That's kind of what they're doing here. I mean, the White Sox, by far the biggest winner so far. During the offseason, there's still moves that they can be made. And I say they're a winner, but next year they're going to be terrible. It's not going to be a winning season next year. You're looking at losing 90 to 100 games probably for the White Sox. But you have all this young talent you just got.
Just got to nurture it.
Exactly.
Bring it up.
Yep, nurture, bring up. Then, those few years where you're going to be bad, you're going to get a high draft pick. Play well during the draft, and there you go. I mean, so, White Sox fans, you have something to look forward to in a couple of years down the road. Next couple of years are going to be rough. I can tell you from experience, when the Cubs started this whole process, they lost over 100 games. That's a rough go until they can, eventually turn around. But then they won 100 games this past year. So
And they won the World
it turns
Series,
around as long as,
so-
your management knows what they're doing. And that's a good start for the White Sox. Going for my Cubs, Dexter Fowler, was a big part of the Cubs' run. He did sign with the rival Cardinals for a 5-year, $82.5 million deal. Yeah, you hate to see him go to the Cardinals. He was such a big part. But their outfield was so overcrowded. If they brought him in, it would have been such a balancing act trying to get all these different players to
And they
be
might
in
have
there.
ran into the chemistry thing, too, at some points.
Well, he was great for chemistry. I mean, the team loved him. Like I said, just trying to get everyone to play would have been tough. And then another deal the Cubs made is they traded Jorge Soler to the Royals for Wade Davis. Once again, Jorge Soler, I mean, he was part of an outfield that he'd been fighting for playing time. He's been hurt a lot. So he is probably going to work better in the American League where he can DH and not have to be in the outfield because it was his legs that seemed to always go out on him. and so this way they can get off his legs. Someone doesn't have to be in the outfield running around, and maybe can stay healthy. And for the Cubs, you get Wade Davis, closer with playoff experience. Helped the Royals win the World Series the previous year. And granted, he is on his last year of his deal, so he does become a free agent at the end of the year.
So it could potentially be a one and done with
could
the Cubs.
be, yeah. Which, I mean, you'd hate to have to give up a player like Jorge Soler for a one year deal.
1 year wonder.
But if that 1 year they win the World Series, I mean, I trust that the management knows what they're doing. I've seen Jed Hoyer. You trust that they know what they're doing. Obviously, they won a World Series, so they know what they're doing.
Yeah, they have an idea.
Yeah, so
to say the least,
you trust the moves that they make, and granted, next year they're gonna have a pretty big batch of free agents. After this year with Jake Arrieta, Wade Davis, John Lackey, to name a few. John Lackey, we knew he was going to be done. I mean, he's probably going to retire after this year because he's on the older side. Jake Arrieta, depends on what kind of season he has, depends on how interesting he'd be. And obviously, he had a phenomenal year year he won the Cy Young. This past year, I mean, he came down to earth a little bit more. So that record-breaking deal he's probably going to search for, he's probably not going to get. And, the Cubs have money. They can spend it if they want to.
They got some deep pockets.
Oh, yeah, they have huge pockets. So if they really wanted to, they could sign him and bring him back easily. They can match any deal anyone else would give him. Another team, player that the Cubs lost was Aroldis Chapman. Signed a 5-year, $86 million deal with the Yankees. That wasn't too surprising. The Cubs showed no interest in re-signing him this offseason. Hey, thanks for the half season of work you gave us. Thanks for giving us the World Series. We're going to go in a different direction, which I'm okay with. I mean, yeah, he throws 103 miles per hour, and he's a great reliever. But I mean,
he did struggle in that one game.
He was so overworked, and the Indians had seen him so much. Same thing with Corey Kluber and Andrew Miller for the Indians. I mean, they had been overworked. The Cubs had seen them several times, so they got hit. So when you play the same team for 7 games, plus you're being worked like crazy, and you're not going to be as effective. But with Chapman, I mean, you did have that whole domestic violence thing that followed him around, and So I mean, like I said, it's great. Thanks for it's great that you gave us a half season of got a world championship out of it. Helped the Cubs get that world championship. So the Cubs fans will be forever grateful for that. But I mean, I'm not too heartbroken that he left. Even after he got traded, he said after that he could see himself returning to the Yankees. So I mean, big deal. I mean, yeah, the Cubs had to give up one of their top prospects for him, but once again, we got a World Series out of it. So you'll take it. But I mean, yeah, overall during the winter meetings, White Sox huge winner. You had some other trades, signings, here and there, nothing substantial. But the White Sox are the biggest winner, I think, out of that. And you still have a while now for trades to be made. There's still some big names out on the market. And one team I think kind of screwed the pooch on things was the Pittsburgh Pirates. Talking about they basically said, "Hey, we're trying to actively, trying to trade Andrew McCutchen," and they almost had a deal worked out with the Nationals, but apparently something went wrong, and the Nationals just got Adam Ian from the White Sox. Now, granted, with Ian, they have 5 years to control, where McCutchen only has 2 years left on his deal. I think the Pirates were looking for a bit too much, and the Nationals just said, "No, don't want to do that." So, but now McCutchen knows the team that he's played for his entire career is actively trying to get rid of him.
That's gotta suck a little bit.
Yeah, and he posted a tweet on Twitter, with a emoji with a zipped up lip that said "keep working." So basically, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. I'm gonna keep working, but kind of noticed the Pirates organization I really don't like what you guys are doing right now. It's one thing if you were just saying, "Hey, if you wanna give us an offer, we'll listen." But we're not going to actively, look for something. But they were actively looking to try to get rid of him. And, as a player that's been the face of that organization for several years now, I get it. It's, kind of a, slap in the face, but that is a business aspect of sports. That's something you go through with every league.
Yeah,
it's like,
every sport.
We glad, you've been, such a good, part of the organization. but we're probably not going to sign you 2 years because you want too much money. So we're just going to try to get rid of you now and get something for you.
Right.
So that's, that is the business side of sports. You hate it, especially when the players, you think, I've been so loyal, but this is how you're going to do me. You're going to just try to get rid of me, but then come spring training, I'm going to have to, show up and act like nothing happened.
It's in tough spots.
Yeah, and then,
tough spots.
Come, the middle of the year, he might get traded at the, trade deadline in July. So that's probably more
really
realistic.
suck.
That's probably a more realistic aspect. But then again, if the Pirates aren't doing well, you might go from a team that's not going to make the playoffs to a potential playoff contender. So, it can work both ways. Like, hey, this team sucks. Oh, I got just traded to this team that's doing really well. Sweet. I'll take it. So, it's kind of like, with Aroldis Chapman, you got, the Yankees weren't going anywhere. You got traded to the Cubs. Oh, I'm on a, favorite team right now. Best chance to win the World Series. Okay, let's bring it on. So then you have, those aspects of it. So, but yeah, White Sox fans, you have a lot to look forward to. Nationals give up a lot for someone that I don't think was worth it. Now going to college football. Playoff order was set.
How about those playoffs, huh? Great teams in there, huh?
You got Alabama ranked number 1.
Yes.
That right there,
Yes.
no argument. I don't see anyone that can argue that aspect of it.
Yes.
Number 2, Clemson. Number 3, Ohio State. Number 4, Washington. So, what does Ohio State not have in common with the other 3 teams?
They've lost 2 games.
And they did not win their conference.
And they won the Michigan game on 2 pretty controversial calls, in my opinion.
Yeah. And you got Alabama, the SEC champion, Clemson, ACC champion, Washington, Pac-12 champion, Ohio State, not the Big Ten champion.
So I have a problem. I have a big problem with Ohio State being in the playoffs. Simply because early in the year they lost to a Penn State team, a Nittany Lions team, might I add, that beat them early on in the year, and I think Penn State finished at number 8.
No, they're number 4. Or no, excuse me, number 5.
5. Okay, 5. Sorry.